Valmiki Ramayana, Bala Kanda, Book 1, Sarga 34, Canto 34, Brahmadatta. A king of Brahma's seed who bore the name of Kusha reigned of yore, just, faithful to his vows, and true. He held the good in honor due. His bride, a queen of noble name, of old Vidarbha's monarchs came. Like their own father, children four, all valiant boys, the lady bore. In glorious deeds, each nerve they strained, and well their warrior part sustained. To them, most just and true and brave, their father thus his counsel gave. Beloved children, ne'er forget, protection is a prince's debt. The noble work at once begin, high virtue and her fruits to win. The youths to all the people dear received his speech with willing ear, and each went forth his several way, foundations of a town to lay. Kushan, a prince of high renown, was builder of Kaushambi's town, and Kushanaba, just and wise, bade high Mahodaya's towers arise. Amurtarajas chose to dwell in Dharmaranya's citadel, and Vasu bade his city fair the name of Girivraja bear. This fertile spot whereon we stand was once the high-souled Vasu land. Behold, as round we turn our eyes, 5 lofty mountain peaks arise. See, bursting from her parent hill, Sumagadi, a lovely rill, bright gleaming as she flows between the mountains like a wreath is seen. And then through Magadha's plains and groves, with many a fair meander roves. And this was Vasu's old domain, the fertile Magadha's broad champaign, which smiling fields of tilth adorn, and diadem with golden corn. The queen Gritachi, nymph most fair, married to Kushanaba, bare 100 daughters, lovely faced, with every charm and beauty graced. It chanced the maidens, bright and gay, as lightning flashes on a day of rain time, to the garden went, with song and play and merriment. And there in gay attire they strayed, and danced and laughed and sang and played. The god of wind, who roves at will all places as he lists to fill, saw the young maidens dancing there, of faultless shape and mien most fair. I love you all, sweet girls, he cried, and each shall be my darling bride. Forsake your mortal lot, and gain a life that withers not. A fickle thing is youth's brief span, and more than all, immortal man. Receive unending youth, and be immortal, all my loves, with me. The 100 girls to wonder steered, the wooing of the wind god heard, laughed as a jest his suit aside, and with one voice they thus replied: Almighty wind, free spirit who all life pervadest through and through, thy wondrous power we maidens know, then wherefore wilt thou mock us so? Our sire is Kushanaba, king, and we, forsooth, have charms to bring, a god to woo us from the skies, but honor first we maidens prize. For may the hour, we pray, be hence, when we, O thou of little sense, our truthful fathers' choice refuse, and for ourselves our husbands choose. Our honored sire, our Lord redeem, he is to us a God supreme, and they to whom his high decree may give us shall our husbands be. He heard the answer, they returned, and mighty rage within him burned. On each fair maid a blast he sent, each stately form be bowed and bent, bent double by the wind god's ire, sought the palace of their sire. There fell upon the ground with sighs, while tears and shame were in their eyes. The king himself, with troubled brow, saw his dear girls so fair but now, a mournful sight, all bent and bowed, and grieving thus he cried aloud, What fate is this, and what the cause? What wretch has scorned all heavenly laws? Who thus your forms could curve and break? You struggle, but no answer make. They heard the speech of that wise king, of their misfortune questioning. Again the 100 maidens sigh, touched with their hands his feet, and cried, the God of wind, pervading space, would bring would bring on us a full disgrace. The god of wind, pervading space, would bring on us a full disgrace. And choosing folly's evil way, from virtue's path in scorn would stray. But we in words like these reproved the god of wind, whom passion moved. Farewell, O Lord, a sire have we, no woman uncontrolled and free. Go and our sire's consent obtain, if thou our maiden hands wouldst gain. No self-dependent life we live, if we offend, our fault forgive. But led by folly as a slave, he would not hear the rede we gave. And even as we gently spoke, we felt the wind god's crushing stroke. The pious king, with grief distressed, the noble hundred thus addressed: with patience, daughters, bear your fate. Yours was a deed supremely great, when with one mind you kept from shame the honor of your father's name. Patience, when men their anger vent, is woman's praise and ornament. Yet when the gods inflict the blow, hard is it to support the woe. Patience, my girls, exceeds all price. 'Tis alms and truth and sacrifice. Patience is virtue, patience fame. Patience upholds this earthly frame. And now, I think, is come the time to wed you in your maiden prime. Now, daughters, go where'er you will. Thoughts for your good my mind shall fill. The maidens went, counseled away, the best of kings that very day, summoned his ministers of state about their marriage to debate. Since then, because the wind god bent the damsel's forms for punishment, that royal town is known to fame by Kanyakubja's borrowed name. There lived a sage called Chuli then, Kuli, devoutest of the sons of men. His days in penance rites he spent, and glorious saint, most continent. To him absorbed in tasks austere, the child of Urmila drew near. Sweet Somada, the heavenly maid, and lent the saint her pious aid. Long time near him the maiden spent, and served him meek and reverent, till the great hermit, pleased with her, thus spoke unto his minister: Grateful am I for all thy care, blessed maiden, speak, thy wish declare. The sweet-voiced nymph rejoiced to see the favor of the devotee. And to that eloquent old man, most eloquent, she thus began. Thou hast, by heavenly grace sustained, close union with the Godhead gained. I long, O saint, to see a son, by force of holy penance won. Unwed, a maiden life I live, a son to me, thy suppliant, give. The saint with favor heard her prayer, and gave a son exceeding fair. Him Kuli's spiritual child, his mother Brahmadatta styled. King Brahmadatta, rich and great, in Kampili maintained his state, ruling like Indra in his bliss, and fortunate his fortunate metropolis. King Kushanaba planned that he, his 100 daughters, lord should be. To him, obedient to his call, the happy monarch gave them all. Like Indra then, he took the hand of every maiden of the band. Soon as the hand of each young maid in Brahmadatta's palm was laid, deformity and cares away, she shone in beauty bright and gay. They freedom from the wind god's might saw Kushanaba with delight. Each glance that on their forms he threw filled him with raptures ever new. Then, when the rites were all complete, highest marks of honor meet, the bridegroom with his brides he sent to his great seat of government. The nymph received with pleasant speech her daughters, and embracing each, upon their forms she fondly gazed, and royal Kushanaba praised. Jai Valmiki Ramayana. Amazing, amazing, amazing chapter. It's just mind blowing this translation, this amazing British translation. It's just like a perfect talent to have something like that, this kind of ability to translate Sanskrit into this kind of English. It's just absolutely amazing. Footnotes 46.1. The modern Berar, I guess Bihar, Berar, Bihar, the modern Bihar. That should be my guess, what he is trying to say. Because Rama was close to Bihar. 46.2. According to the Bengal recession, the first Kushamba is called Kushasva, and his city Kushasvi. This name does not occur elsewhere. The reading of the northern recession is confirmed by it's hard to pronounce all this. This asterisk up here, meaning that they could not translate properly. I guess it was ineligible in the original writing. Page 385. where the city Kaushangmi is mentioned. It lay 500 lis, 500 lis, leagues, to the southwest of Prayag, on the south bank of the Jamuna. Mahodaya is another name of Kanyakubja. Dharmaranya, the wood to which the god of justice is said to have fled through fear of Soma, the moon god, was in Magadha. Girivraja, W.S., in the same neighborhood. See Lasson's, capital I, capital A, volume 1, page 604. 47.1. That is the city of the bent virgins, the modern Kanauja or Kanoj. 47.1b, literally given by Brahma or devout contemplation. Again, lots of information. Lots of information. So basically in this chapter is talking about some history that happened before Ramayana. It's talking about a bunch of maidens, 100 maidens that were cursed by the wind god because they refused him to become his brides. And the wind god got mad. He got mad and he deformed them because the wind is present everywhere. The air is present everywhere. So there are 4 gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. From grossest to subtlest. Earth is the most gross. Then comes the fire, water. Then comes the fire. Then comes the air. And then comes the ether. Ether is a container within whom all these other elements, other 4 elements, are situated. And air permeates everything. Permeates the fire, the water, and the earth. So air god, the wind god, decided to deform them by not properly flowing in their bodies. The material bodies are just that, are machines, are perfect material machines within which a soul comes in and animates it and makes it alive. Just like when a driver enters a car, the car immediately becomes alive and starts moving. Although it is completely dead, it's a dead matter, because the driver is inside, or the soul, the material body moves. And the material body, we just got it. We have not created it. We don't know nothing, almost nothing about it besides how to eat, sleep, and take dump. Other than that, we are completely ignoring how all this is going on within our body, all this metabolism and all these millions of things going on. We have no idea. We just take it for granted. But due to illusion, we are completely identifying ourselves with this temporary body. Why is it so? Why being obsessed with material bodies so much? Why are we thinking ourselves so much so that if something happens to this body, good or bad, we feel it. We feel all the pleasures, we feel all the pains. In any case, the fact is that we are 100% unadulterated identification with this temporary material product, although it has nothing to do with us. Because when the body dies, the soul will keep on going and it will get another body under the direction of Mother Nature, who sees, who is accountant, and knows everyone's karma. So according to karma, she will award us our next body. It's not that we create our bodies. No, we get the bodies of somebody who is capable of creating them, and that's Mother Nature or Goddess Kali. So the wind god has this power to go everywhere, and he is also within everyone's body, and he decided to disfigure these 100 girls, maidens, because they refused his offer. The wind god is talking to them how they should accept him, because in this way they will always be eternally young looking. Eternally young looking. There is a song, Forever Young. There's a really nice song there. Forever young. I want to be forever young. So that song talks about a wind god trying to convince the earthlings, the maidens of this earth, to accept him as their husband and to gain a so-called eternal life of eternal youthfulness, which is true. The demigods, although of course nothing is eternal, nothing lives eternally within the material world, but all their lifespan, throughout their lifespan, they all look young. All demigods look very, very young. In Sanskrit, they're called devas, devatas. He called girls, I love you all, sweet girls, he cried, and each shall be my darling bride. And they did not obey him. And this is how he got angry. Even demigods can get angry if they are refused. And they can do stupid things. This is called material intoxication. When you're intoxicated with the power, then you can do stupid things, like as soon as you get angry, in other words, your desires are not fulfilled the way you want it, then you abuse your powers. And this is what's going on in the material world. It's going, it just pretty much we are firing back and forth between cursing and counter cursing. All this negative energy, all this negative thinking, constantly going on. It's like endless ride. This ride never ends. It's constantly cursing and counter cursing. People perform great austerities to achieve their goals, and once they perform so many austerities, they achieve some political power, and then there are other people right behind them who are doing the same kind of sacrifices, similar kind of sacrifices to counteract them. So much energy has been used for nonsense, complete ignorance, complete foolishness. And this is material world. This is the quality of the material world. All it is, it's souls being on an ego trip, performing great austerities to gain some powers, and then acting stupidly. That's all it is. Cursing and counter cursing. And we can see all this politics that is constantly blasted into people's consciousness. All these literally crazy people, Democrats and Republicans, completely crazy, insane. This is all we are seeing. Cursing and counter cursing. That's all. That's all what is going on. Just cursing at each other, chanting profanities, hating on each other, and mocking each other, making fun of each other. That's the material world. You gain some power, and then you do stupid things. And in this way, this wind god, although you know he gains so much celestial qualities because of practicing virtues and austerities and yoga and meditation. For many, many years, he achieved that position of demigod. Still, he was under the influence of illusion, and because he got refused by earthly maidens, he became angry and he disformed them. He disformed these girls. And then the girls were so devastated, and they went to their father, whom they considered their lord, and they explained the whole situation cryingly, and nobody could do nothing about it. So the king was sad to hear all that, and then he was counseling his ministers how can he now marry all these 100 daughters who are now ugly looking, literally ugly looking. So what happened is there was another king called Brahmadatta who also performed so many austerities, so many yoga meditations for thousands of years, if not lifetimes. And he was so like this successful that he also gained powers. But you have to remember, these are not spiritual powers. Spiritual powers means when you completely understand that living in the material world is a complete waste of time. Spiritual powers means when you understand that this has nothing to do with you, with the soul. When you understand that the material body is completely awkward to you, and you have no need for the material body whatsoever. Yeah, but because of identification, you are forced to maintain it and to be in it. So Spiritual life is like this. You understand 100% completely what's going on. That's the spiritual self-realization. And that your duty is to be in association with God, with somebody who created everything. That's God. And God is Krishna and Rama. Rama is one of the eminent expansions of Krishna, Vishnu Tattva. This is spiritual. Material is when we had no idea, we have no idea what's going on, what is the reality, and we are performing all these great austerities and gain powers, and that's not spiritual. That's completely material. Because you sat down and looked like a yogi, that doesn't mean you are spiritual. You just perform some austerities by which you propitiated the main gods or demigods like Brahma or Shiva or Kali, and gain some benefits from them. You collected some welfare checks from them. And since you performed these great austerities and you collected some benefit checks, then you feel so puffed up, and then you go around flashing with this, thinking yourself you're so important, and you want to have other people think that you're so special. It's just an ego trip. But in this case with Brahmadatta, it seems like he was not, I guess, that influenced with stupidity as the wind god. And instead of rejecting those deformed young maidens because of the wind god, he accepted them, and because of his own practice of yoga and austerities and virtues, he was able to give them their beauty back. That was his power. He was able to give them their beauty back by adjusting the air properly within their bodies. So in this way, all these 100 girls were married to Brahmadatta. Now this is the story that we're gonna see how it's gonna play out as we go on reading Ramayana. But in any case, very interesting story. Very, very interesting. So many things to talk about. It's only 38 minutes. It's already 38 minutes of talking. So, Ramayana ki jai. Ciao.